Hello, 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 everyone. Listen to another episode of Let's Talk Sports with Tim McCain, and I am here with the 3-0 undefeated Nathen King Kong Arriaga. How
Let's
you doing?
go. I'm good, man. I'm good. Getting ready to get back in there and start training again. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you just came off a victory, a recent victory. What do you think of your last performance in the
I
octagon?
felt I felt good, man. That was probably the most relaxed and calm I've been in a long time. We worked a lot of stuff. Uh, Usually I'm used to going out there and just brawling and getting wild. We worked on staying composed and everything for this fight, and it went good, man. That's probably the best I performed in a long time. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So when did your love for the fight game begin?
boxing is really what I originally started at.
Okay.
I'm from Ohio originally.
Mhm.
And I started boxing over there when I was younger, and kind of was in and out of that, kind of more to keep me out of trouble than anything. And then I moved up to North Carolina, or down to North Carolina, in like 2010.
Mhm.
And a buddy of mine was in a boxing gym, and he was like, "Hey, yeah, they do MMA and stuff." So I kind of just tried that out and went from there. Man, had my first MMA fight 2014, and I've pretty much been on it since.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So transitioning from boxing to mixed martial arts, do you still have that love for boxing that you did when you were originally training, or is it just now MMA?
No, man, it's still boxing's always my favorite, just because I love standing up, and getting to use my hands. It was
Mm,
definitely it was a different transition having to be able to incorporate leg kicks and everything else that comes with MMA, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, and all that stuff. So it was definitely a hard transition, but now that I've been doing it for so long, I'm getting more comfortable with everything that's going on. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what was the process like going from boxing? Because boxing is just straight hands. I mean, your
yeah,
hands are like a licensed weapon. You
yeah,
know what
bro.
I mean? And then to go from just straight boxing somebody, taking somebody's head off, to now you're using kicks, now you take down, now you're striking, now
Yeah.
you're grappling. There's a lot that goes into it.
Really, the hardest thing for me to get used to was the wrestling part, just because I
Mm,
like all throughout high school, I know a lot of MMA fighters. Wrestling was their kind of background. I didn't ever have that. I was in boxing, and then it was just that was pretty much it. And like I said, boxing kept me out of trouble, so that was really all I did. A lot of my friends wrestled and everything, but that was never my thing. So
mm.
to transition from just boxing to doing wrestling and learning all that, that was the hardest thing, dude. I hated that. That was rough.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I want to. You're not the first mixed martial arts. Excuse me. You're not the first mixed martial artist that's talked about transitioning from boxing to MMA, and you're also somebody who talked
Mm.
about how boxing it helps you get out of trouble. Why do you think boxing helps people differently than other sports?
I think just martial arts in general, man. Whether it's boxing or there's kickboxing, Muay Thai. There's so many different martial arts you can do, and I think that's a way for people to just let out aggression that they have. That there's not a lot of ways you can let that out without getting in trouble. So to have something like martial arts, whatever it is, for me it was my boxing, to have that to be able to go to and let off your steam, and whether it's hitting a bag or it's getting into a ring and sparring with people. I feel like that's a good way for anybody to have to, if they need to calm down, or if they had a bad day or something and they need to hit the gym. I think that's what I used to do. That was how I that's how I calmed down myself. I would just hit the gym and then feel better afterwards.
Got you. So, who were some of the greatest battles that you've ever faced in the octagon, amateurly and as professional?
Uh, my amateur, man, I had a couple fights, man. Dude from highest down MMA, Jalen Wilson, that was a good one. Longer dude, had reach, good hands. Uh, I had fought my last amateur fight, my last title fight that I had against Aubrey Ryan. That was a war, man, for 2 rounds. Ended up having my orbital bone broken that fight, and still came back in the third round and ended up finishing him. But that was a good stand-up fight. It wasn't no takedowns, nothing like that. We just stood up and traded hands and kicks and stuff.
Wow.
Obviously, at that point, it was just his kicks in my hands, because that boy tore my leg up, man. I wasn't a kicker at that time. But as far as the pro my pro record, man, really just the one dude, man, caught me the fight before my last one. He just caught me with the right hand, coming in wild, and I'm pretty good at coming back from stuff like that. He called me and dropped me, but he ended up trying to go for a choke and take my back, and I submitted him with the ankle lock. So I'm pretty aware. Like I've told everybody, man, if you don't knock me out, you're not. If you let me up, I'm coming back harder.
Wow. Okay. And mentally, where did you get that? Because like I know when you're in the octagon, right? Everyone, when you get hit with a hit that's like that shocks you, a hit that you're like, yo, wait a minute, this guy, he's a real fighter. In your mind, okay, did you ever have that feeling of, yo, I might need to check this guy. I don't know if I could take this guy. Was there ever that thing where you were like, I don't know if I could beat this guy?
Nah, I never get really, my mindset's different. I think sometimes just because when I get hit, it switches something on and I'm like, all right, cool. I like in a way I feel like I need to get hit. So that way I'm like, all right, cool. I'm in a fight. That's what's about to happen. All right. And then from there, that's when I turn up. Like as soon as I get touched, then I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's see if I'm going to hit you back, bro. Let's see what happens.
Wow. So you like to get hit. So where does that come from? You liking to get hit? Because some fighters, they want to be like, I'm going to fight, but I don't want to get hit.
Yeah. And that's what, they're working on that with me now. That's been, even in boxing, man, I would always be the one. I can take a punch. And everybody knows that. So we're working on, staying a distance and not getting hit and hitting and all that stuff. And I still, man, any fight that I've been, I always end up getting in some kind of brawl or where somebody wants to stand and trade and we might get wild for a minute. I feel like I thrive in that area just because I know I have power. And if I connect, you might be able to connect and drop me, but if I connect, I think that's going to be it for whoever's in front of me. So I got a lot of confidence in my hands, and that's like, even my coaches, man, it's like that Mexican fighter style, bro. Mexicans always bring it. We put our heads down and we bite down and it's on, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, okay. So let's say you're facing an opponent and he's like not throwing hardly any punches, any kicks. Would that frustrate you as a brawler? And how would you deal with somebody who's just throwing jabs every once in a while, just throwing kicks every once in a while?
Not so much. I fought a couple guys like that. They like to stay on the outside and kind of just work from there. And before I would chase them down, like I would just follow them down and just throw my hands and kind of go from there. Now I'm more content with wherever it goes. If we stand up and we're picking our shots and just kind of figure each other out, I feel I'm comfortable wherever. It doesn't really bother me as much now, but I know if we get into a brawl and if it comes down to that, I feel like I'm comfortable there too. So I got a lot of confidence in my hands and I know I have power in them. If I can catch somebody, I feel like it's going to be a bad night for them. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, question: do you learn more from your wins or your losses, or do you learn equally?
My losses as an amateur, I learned definitely just because of, as an amateur, you want to learn from anything, whether it's a win or a loss. But the losses really helped me realize the things that I need to work on, just like any fight. But also with winning, there's still something that you can do better, even if you win. There's always another thing that you could have done better. You could have done this and it would have maybe changed the outcome of the fight or made it end quicker or something like that. So I always look at, whether it's a win or a loss, there's always a way to learn from however you just fought. So,
okay. So your previous victory, so your last victory, what are some of the things that you could look at that you could say I can improve on?
Just coming out and certain times just getting wild, because even in the last fight I felt good and I was calm and everything, picking shots, but there was still some points where I could have just backed off for a second and then just kind of gained my composure and then went back at it. I always get that way. Even if I get somebody against the cage, I'll start swinging. So there's still stuff I need to work on as far as calming down, just because when I get to them positions, I'm like, all right, cool, this is where I want to be at. I want to brawl. So just kind of working on stepping back and just resetting and then going from there.
Yes, sir. So who are some of the fighters, boxers, mixed martial artists that you grew up as a kid and you were like, that's the kind of fighter I would want to be?
Oh man, there's a lot. Boxers is you got Roy Jones. I used to watch the old boxing matches with my grandpops. Used to always get them on like them old pay-per-views with Mike Tyson and all them guys. Who was I can't remember his name. Some Mexican dudes. A couple Mexican. De La Hoya was one of my favorites, man. Yep. De La Hoya too, man. De La Hoya was crazy with the hooks and getting in, and just his pressure was like no other. So
Mm.
boxing, De La Hoya is probably another big one. MMA, man, there's so many to pick from because everybody has their own style. Chuck Liddell was always one of the dudes I used to watch in the beginning just because of how he came out, hands down, just ready to brawl out with whoever. And he would always just catch people. I actually got to work with Rashad Evans a little bit. He came around here. This was when I first started, so I didn't really know what I was doing, but to be able to get that knowledge, I always liked Rashad. He's pretty cool.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of strikers in MMA right now that I still watch. Even if I was to get into once I get to these bigger cars in the UFC and stuff, bro, I'm still gonna be watching these people because it's just crazy to see how everybody evolves and how they make this fighting game their own style, you know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Matching up your style with somebody in the current UFC or Bellator or PFL, who is somebody that you want to be like, you know what, I would want to fight him?
I think even my coach, man, he says I kind of the way my style is just like Cub Swanson, the way he comes out and just bangs out. You know, he's always just straightforward pressure, and just if he gets into brawls, just like I don't know if you've seen his last fight that was just the other weekend.
Yes.
But he dropped that dude with a right hand, bro. That was nasty. And he's been around for so long. It's just I like the way he fights. Him, Dustin Poirier, the way them guys fight, that'd be awesome.
That would be. So where did the name King Kong come from?
That was for my kids and their mom. They're always at my fights, and before I do it now sometimes, but before when I would win, I was always beating on my chest and stuff. And they was like, "You got to be King Kong. That's got to be what you're called now." I was like, "All right, that works."
That's what's up. Okay, so you were 8-2 as an amateur. I really want you to explain to the viewers that will listen to this just about life as an amateur. I mean, you had an orbital bone that was broken in a fight.
Yep.
You're putting your own money up. You know what I mean? The sacrifices that you have to take as an amateur are different than you might have to take as a professional. So what is life like for you as an amateur and maybe for other amateurs who are trying to make it to the next level?
It's definitely it's a grind, man. You got to stay on it with training and everything. You know, with me, I got my kids and everything, so it's a lot more that I got to put more into. You know, for those who do have kids that are still amateurs and stuff, I know how much work they're putting in. And like you said, the money and everything that has to get put into all that. It's good to have, you know, local sponsors and stuff as far as the amateur career goes, just because that's kind of where you get your help from. The people that help you out with, you know, whatever medicals you need or travel, stuff like that. It's good to have those sponsors around because they definitely help. I've had my few that they've been around since I started and they've helped with a lot of stuff. But just the amateur career, I mean, even the pro is a grind, but to really get to a good pro level, you want to just grind it out in your amateur, man. Learn as much as you possibly can. And I'm always in the gym. I'm in the gym in the morning. I get out of the gym, go straight to work. I get off work and I'm back at the gym. I ain't even been home yet. I usually don't get home until about 10 o'clock. And wow. I'm at the gym. I get to the gym from 6 to 7 in the morning. I'm at the gym and then I get off. I leave the gym, go straight to work. I get off work and then I go to the gym and then I'm here all day. So
it's definitely a sacrifice. I remember a fighter telling me that if you're doing mixed martial arts for money, you shouldn't do it. Because
man, you gotta love. Yeah, you gotta have a love for the sport. It's not so much. I mean, obviously, once you turn pro, you know, you in a way you're kind of like, okay, cool, now I can start making money. But you don't just jump right in and make the money that everybody is expecting you to make. You know, everybody's thinking you're gonna make a bunch of, you know, thousands and all this money you're gonna make, and it's really not about that because there's still a struggle just as there is an amateur. You gotta really love the sport to be able to continue doing that because not a lot of people like getting in the face.
Exactly. So Nathen, what is success to you? What is your definition of success?
Really just making it to where I can take care of my kids and everybody straight, man. My kids and my mom. I've always been a big family person, so pretty much I do this obviously because, you know, this is what I feel like fighting is the only thing I'm really, really good at besides being a father and, you know, my jobs and stuff I got. But fighting is what I want to eventually be able to look back and be like, all right, you know, I made it to look how far I've came. Because before I've been telling people since I was in school, I'll be in them on them high TVs and, you know, at the higher level, I'll be there. Just give me time. And I mean, anybody you talk to that knew me in high school and stuff, they're like, man, look at you, you're almost there. And I'm like, bro, I know it's just a matter of time. I never didn't think I was going to be here. I always knew I didn't know when. So I'm just getting that much closer every time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So how did mixed martial arts change Nathan Arriaga's life?
In a lot of ways, man. Had my first amateur fight was in Mooresville, North Carolina, I think, for Rocket the Doc. And really, I reached out. Me and my kids' mom, we reached out together and was kind of asking, promoters, hey, can I have this opportunity? I'd love to fight. And at that time, man, I was just kind of a brawler, like a legit boxing brawler in an MMA cage. That's kind of what I did. And if I could get a hold of you, I'd pick you up and slam you. I was working just with the little bit of wrestling I knew. But really, after that one fight, I had promoters that was messaging me, wanting me to come. They like the way I fight. Every time I show up, I put on, I always put on a show no matter what it is. It's definitely changed a lot just because, now I'm known. People know who I am. I mean, especially like getting work with Derek Brunson. I mean, that's wild. I would never expect nothing like that just because of how, the level that he's on. Me being who I am and where I come from, bro, we don't expect people that are higher up like that, big time stars and stuff, to be able to notice us. And that's all just came because of fighting. So if I'm getting people like that to notice me, I know eventually I'll be up there. So this is only the beginning for me, really. It's changed a lot. My career's going good. Everything's going good. I know there's tests and stuff that'll be, along the way. Fighters that are going to be better than me that I'm going to have to put more work in. That's going to be tough. But I'm here for all that. I ain't going nowhere.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's say a kid looks up to you and he asks the question, okay, Coach Arriaga, what does it take to be successful? What does it take to be in a position where I can take care of my family, where I can take care of my friends like you are one day?
Yeah. I've had kids ask me that a couple times already, man. It's crazy because I have kids that I teach just boxing, and there's kids that come in sometimes, or people that know my kids, they're the younger kids that are friends with my kids, and they're wanting autographs and stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm not even that big, but it's just how much little kids really look up to you is wild. And you don't really notice that, besides your own kids, you don't really notice how much you're looked up to until you get around other kids and they're like, hey, can you sign this piece of paper for me so I can save it? And I, just like I tell my kids, it's just hard work. They see the work that I put in. It's not always fun and games. You always got to know when to separate work from home, obviously, but there's a lot to put into it if you want to be successful. But if you want to be successful that bad, then you'll get to that point. You just got to never give up and always follow your dreams. That's something I've done since I was a kid. This has been one of my things, is to get big and fighting, and I've never gave up on that. There's been times where, it's gotten rough. Life hits everybody. It's just however you bounce back. If you can come back stronger, and then that's kind of what'll get you through all this. So,
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you think that being calm in the ring, because I feel like there was like you said, there was a comments about you in the ring. Do you feel that way because life is the biggest challenge? It's not the man that you see in the octagon, but it's life itself that's the biggest. Is that why there's a calmness? It's like the octagon is like a sanctuary of some sort.
Yeah, man. Everybody goes through their struggles, their problems. Everybody has that life. Everybody's getting hit by life in some kind of way, man. And so for me, when I'm calm, like me being in the ring, the hardest part is training. Like I hate coming in here training. This hurts. I'd rather fight, dude. I'd rather get in the cage. But once we get in there, I mean, I don't know if it's for every fighter, but like with me, when I get in the cage, when I'm calm, that's good for me, because then I can do what I came to do. Then I can show, my skills and my skill set. I don't know. If I'm calm when it's come fight night, and usually I am, I don't never think of nothing else. I get in the cage and I know I'm here to do a job. He's here to do a job. We'll get in there and put on a show, and then afterwards we go from there. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So 10 years from now, where is Nathen Arriaga going to be?
Well, in 2 years, I'm going to be in a big show, maybe a year and a half, 10 years, man, that's 10 years. I'll be almost 40 years old? Yes, I hope to be still fighting, man.
Word. Okay.
I want to fight as much as I can. Well, no, 10 years, I'm 20 or 29, so 30. Yeah, I'll be almost 40. So I hope to be still fighting.
Like Alistair Overeem.
Yeah, man. I mean, you see a lot of these older guys that are in the UFC that's been around for a while, if they take care of themselves and kind of stay fit and stay in shape, there's still some older dudes out there that swing around with the young bucks, bro. And the young bucks are coming up hard, so.
Yeah.
I'm looking to be one of the dudes that are out there banging out with them, so.
So you don't believe in this mentality that the fight game is a young man's game. That's how that was the old man's mantra back in the day. It was this is a young man's game. You can't be old. Do you think science and technology now you can be an older person fighting in mixed martial arts or in boxing?
I think really it's just how you condition yourself when you train. You know, if you stay in shape, obviously there has to be a time where no matter if you want to or not, there's got to be a time where you quit. It just, whether you realize it or there's somebody around you that, once you get so old and other people like some of the UFC fighters, man, there's some of them guys you see with their last couple fights that they've had. It's like, man, it's time for you to you got to hang it up. And that's hard for anybody just to be like, okay, this is all I've done is fighting for, my whole life. Now somebody's telling me I got to stop. It's hard to think like, man, I can't do that no more. So I definitely think it is a young man's game, but I think if anybody trains and conditions themselves and stays fight ready and stays in shape, and I feel like anybody can do it, but the young boys are coming up quick. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. My last question to you is, after you retire, after you put up the gloves, what do you think people will say about your career and you as a person? And what are some things that you want to do after you retire?
Hopefully I get people to remember me just because I always show up to put on a show, man. I'm not necessarily, I'm not a person that comes out and talks. I'm not one of those, trash talkers that does all that. Some people can do that just to make money or get their name out there. That's never been something I do. Anytime something happens, I always use my hands in the cage. Those are my words. I'll get in there and show you how I fight. I don't have to talk about it. And I want to be remembered, someone that gets in there and throws down. I want to be remembered like Cub Swanson and like, Dustin that goes in there and they throw down and people know that, they know no matter what it is, they're going to go in there and go for a war. And that's how it's going to be. And as far as, what I do afterwards, I want to get to a point where I have the money to where I can invest and kind of put money back into whether it's, something to help kids or just stuff to be able to make sure that I'm good for, the long future. I don't want to just blow everything right away. I want to be able to invest in stuff, get stuff that will keep me financially straight for the rest of my life, my kids' lives. And if I can help, I'll help whoever I can. I don't want to, if I got it, man, everybody else will have it too. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Nathen. I really appreciate your time, bro. When are you going to fight next? And where can people find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at Nathen King Kong Arriaga. I'm on Twitter's King Kong Arriaga. I'm on Facebook at Nathen Arriaga. And I have my fighters page, Nathen King Kong Arriaga. Next fight is January 9th in Knoxville, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So that'll be for Valor. So look for me there. If y'all can make it.
Yes,
watch
sir.
out.
It's going to be a battle. What are your expectations for that fight?
It's going to be fun. I know he's coming. He throws heavy. He likes to put a lot of pressure, but I don't think he's fought somebody that's going to hit and throw back like I am. So
yes,
you can hear all the kids. We got a kids class going on. You can hear them all wild in there.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I definitely would like to get a face-to-face with you guys because I think that's going to be a great fight. A face-to-face with Zoom.
Yeah, man, that'll be cool.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you, bro.
No problem, brother. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Hey, one last question before we go. Does mixed martial arts, do they have like a thing where they teach financial literacy?
Meaning like to be financially set for later on or?
And now, because like for athletes, especially in basketball and football, you see a lot of athletes go broke because so like for me, when I look at it, right, when you make it, right, everybody's asking for it. Everybody favors. And so like as an athlete, I just wonder how athletes, if they're training athletes, how to say no, how to invest their money, and how to give properly.
Yeah. So like with me, I got people that are around team wise that will help financially. I mean, they help me financially now, and I'm not even up there yet, So they'll definitely help me out as far as managing everything. Eventually once I get bigger, I'll get like an accountant or somebody that can actually really manage all the money and put away what I need to save. Give me what I can spend out. If I get to a point where I have so much money, give me what I can give back to others. And then, put away what I need to save, so that way I can kind of balance all that out. Because if it was up to me, bro, I'm horrible with money. Everybody's getting something.
I feel you, man. I feel you, bro. But hey, my last question. This is not gonna be on the interview, but I know you're of Mexican descent. But I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I feel like you're part black. I look at you, and I'm like,
bro. Hey, my mom's did the what was it, ancestry thing?
Yeah,
we got Nigerian in us.
I knew it, bro. I knew it. I swear
bro,
to God.
I told my mom that for like years. I was like, "Ma, I'm telling you." She was like, "No, we're not. We're Irish, Nigerian, Indian, all kinds of stuff, bro."
I knew it, bro. The Latin community, to be honest with you, the Latin community is probably the most mixed out of any race in the world. And so it's just like, to be honest with you, America in 2050, we're gonna be looking like Nathen Arriaga.
Yeah, bro. I told when she told us, because she's like, I got my results back from the ancestry thing, and we're Asian too, because I used to make fun of my little brother, bro, because he looks Asian. And he was like, bro, my mom was like, we're not Asian. I was like, all right, watch. And she did all that, and it came back we was Asian and black and everything. I was like, man, I've been telling you this for how long? I said, I know what it is.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I just love so much there's so much to love about Latin culture and just the Latin fight game. I just love, the Mexican boxing, the spirit of Mexican.
I was about to say, bro, Mexican boxing it's not a lot of fighters that are built like Mexican boxers, bro.
No.
Even if you could be the greatest, and I've seen a lot of Mexican boxers take damage, but there ain't no other person that's gonna come forward like a Mexican boxer that's gonna bite his mouthpiece down and just go at it. They'll go to war. Like, I've been to war with people, and they're like, "That's that Mexican heart. You got that heart that you can't teach that."
Exactly. I wonder where that comes from. It's got to be. Is it what's in it about Mexicans that like they just go at it tougher than like anyone else?
Nah, man, I have no idea. It's just like with me, that's just. I like that, man. I like the toughness. I like to have to come forward like that. When we get in situations like that, and I'm just like, all right, like I said, if I get hit, they'll know because I'm gonna hit back, and if I'm gonna hit you harder than you hit me. And if you can stand, that's usually when everything changes. Because once I hit somebody, it changes the whole game. And then they're like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do this now.
Yeah, for real. Plus you're a boxer. Boxer. That's, to me, is an advantage. And I think for you, it's like, I think a Mexican fighter who's got good wrestling skills and also got good hands, that could almost be the real deal in UFC and win multiple championships that way.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, like look at Cain Velasquez. That was another one of my favorite MMA fighters. Like, heavyweight wise, and his cardio was ridiculous, dude. But his boxing was good. His wrestling was out. Like, his wrestling was crazy, and he had the wrestling that where he could defend if you was trying to take him down. He had the hands that where if he stood up with you, he'll knock you out. And his cardio, he wasn't getting tired. So that was another one of my favorite guys that I used to watch all the time too. Yeah. If I can train with anybody, man, it'd be that dude. I'd go to his gym and train with him.
Or did he fight too long? Or I feel like his record is interesting because I feel like he's a great fighter, but did he fight too long?
He got hurt, man, when he messed his knee up. I think after he messed his knee up, that's kind of what happened to him, because when he came back after his knee, he wasn't really right. Like, you could tell it wasn't the same. His cardio was still there. His hands, his movement and everything was there, but he was just kind of hesitant. And then his last fight, he went in. I forgot who he was fighting, but when he went in, his knee just gave out. I think it was an injury that kind of halted his career a little bit. But then when he switched, now he's over and wrestling and doing all whatever. I mean, whatever it is, you make money how you do it. But I remember the Mexican fight that was coming up when he first what was it, Brock Lesnar and all them guys. Yeah. When he was fighting all them and he won the belt, bro. I remember freaking out. I was at the house like, yo, let's go.
Yo, as a mixed martial artist, do you really consider Brock Lesnar a real threat? Because I know, like, a lot of people, they feel like, well, he was a WWE star and he was a wrestling champ and he was a UFC champion. But when he started to face real competition, it seemed like his wins and losses kind of went, it turned.
I feel like with him, man, obviously his wrestling was crazy. I mean, look how that boy's big. And I mean, with his hands, whether he has good hands or not, you get hit by some hands like that with the power that he's probably putting behind them punches. I think that's bad for anybody. I don't care whether it's high level or not. He don't like getting hit in the face. And you can see that in every fight that he has, bro. When somebody tags him, that changes the whole game. Because then he's on the defense the whole time. Then he's looking for them shots. And it's just more or less, it's kind of he just needs to take you down because he wants to get you down. He don't want to get hit no more. And then that's where he starts messing up at. I feel like he's anybody, whoever gets in the cage has nothing but respect because not a lot of people get in there and do that. But for him to be, once he started fighting the top level dudes, that was a lot for him to have to deal with because he's not. Yeah. I don't think he liked to get hit in the face a lot, man. Because when he did, that's when he started losing.
Yeah, no, I love Brock Lesnar. I just want to know from like an MMA perspective, what people thought because and then like I know like they had a new post where they said who win in the fight, Mike Tyson or Brock Lesnar.
Oh, bro, Tyson would destroy that man.
They were saying Brock Lesnar would take him down in 2 seconds.
If it was MMA, and then Tyson would probably get taken down.
No, like a street fight.
You also have to. If it was a street fight, bro, Tyson knock him out.
Really?
I think Tyson knock him out because look how. I mean, he's still scary, and he's what 50-something years old. That boy still got stupid power. I wouldn't even want to spar with Tyson just because I know he probably hit me and knock me out.
Yeah, man, I feel you, man. Well, hey, Nathen, I really appreciate you, bro. Thank you very much for this interview. It was fun, man.
Hey, no problem, brother. Thank you.